But we are live. Yes, happy, healthy, beautiful day to you guys. Eric Higgins here, holistic health coach and actor, calling out of Brazil this week. And on this call, I'm going to be speaking about success hacks of high performance coaches and how we can enhance our lifestyles with none other than Mr. Sascha Müller. I was going to pronounce your name incorrectly there. Sascha is a high performance coach with Tony Robbins. I'm sure you might have heard of Tony Robbins. He doesn't brag too much about that, but it is a big brag. It's so awesome to be working with Tony and being in one of his elite coach environments, but also working with athletes through his master certification of animal flow, and also having skated with some of the best in the world as a former pro athlete, having skated with Tony Hawk back in the day. We say back in the day, but today is the day. Guys, so look, if you are someone who's interested in high performance, someone who wants to bring their life to the next level, then I really hope you enjoy this conversation. We want to keep this engaging as well. So if you're on Instagram and you want to ask any questions or add some comments in there, please do so. And if you're watching on Facebook, and if you are a coach or a content creator, Hang Fires are going to be talking about our Project 100K, which is impacting 100,000 lives this year, and how you could be part of that. So Sascha, bringing you up on stage, sir. Sascha is in the house. Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
I was just wondering, when is he going to get me on stage here in that StreamYard thing? It's new to me. New technology.
There you go. I was keeping you on edge there, Sascha, keeping you on edge. So yeah, I just want to welcome you to this call, Sascha. I always enjoy having conversations with you. You know, it's always fun. It's always impactful. Every time we speak, it's always with intention. And we do have fun in the process of that as well. And I think that's the foundation of all friendships, is having a connection, having similar interests, and really seeing the world from similar points of view. So I'm just really grateful, first of all, to have met you through our Animal Flow community, and for, you know, things that we're going to achieve together as coaches and as mentors, to help other people to elevate their game moving through life. So I just want to welcome you to the call. And how's things going in Germany today?
Thanks so much, Eric. First of all, I'm super excited as always, and your energy, it just blows right here. I can feel that all the way half around the world. Are we all good? Sound is good?
Yeah, we're good. I thought I broke the connection there. My chest pumped there, but you seem to be getting the circles there on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Okay. I don't know.
But anyways, I might be live on Instagram. I have no idea. Maybe it's just you who's frozen.
That is odd. It seems I've disconnected here from my feed due to poor connection. Isn't that perfect timing?
Well, technology loves us, and we love technology. We're going to get it done somehow.
We absolutely will. But while that's catching up, and I'm going to see about here we are. We're up. We're back. We're back, people.
Well, what I wanted to say, Eric, first of all, thank you for having this call again. And I'm, as always, super excited to speak to you and to be in this ship, in this relationship that we're having. It is just amazing, because the energy, it is leveling up. It is surrounding myself with those people that have a mission aligned with my mission. And really nowadays, I'm looking at being in a relationship with anyone, really, like being in the ship. And whatever you're feeding into that, right? Whatever you're feeding into that ship, it's either going to make it drop, get slower, or lift up, go faster, higher, further. And well, that is one of the feelings that always comes from doing something with you, Eric. And I just couldn't be any happier than, I couldn't put it in words, actually. It's just fucking brilliant to be here. I love what we're doing, and let's go. Let's get the show on.
Let's get into it. So I want to go back. We always say we trace our steps backwards in order for us to understand the journey and how we've come to be where we are today. So just before we talk about the present and the future, I want to talk about your past. How did you actually achieve the success you have as a professional skateboarder, as an elite level skateboarder? You know, back in, I think it was the 90s, you said you were toning with Tony Hawk. How cool that must have been. But what are some of the success principles, Sascha, that you've brought from being a professional skateboarder into now also your work as a Tony Robbins coach, to be able to help other people to reach elite levels in their lifestyles?
Oh, what a big question. Some of those people that I used to skate with that are, I've seen some of them joining here, and it's just making my head just spins like at 100 miles right now, because I'm seeing myself in these moments, being on these competitions with these guys which are here on the call right now, and it's just amazing. And to clarify, it's been early 2000s for around about 10 years then. That was my time, and I do remember that during that time I really wasn't planning on having a career, so to speak, like that. It was not my idea to have the life of a professional athlete or a skateboarder of that kind. It wasn't the plan. I went to school, I studied, I really was planning on having a normal life, and then, well, life happens, right? And out of the idea of studying one of the most challenging topics I could be studying here in Germany, it was just at that time in the late 90s, it was just my hobby, my vent, really, to go out late night after studying, sitting down all day, just to let my energy out with something I've always enjoyed since I was a little boy growing up, skateboarding. And it just so happened at that time that I was just obsessed with that. In some way, it fulfilled, from my perspective nowadays, I know what kind of needs it fulfilled for me. If we speak about the basic human needs that Tony also refers to so many times, I know nowadays very well what kind of human needs I got fulfilled through being on my own, doing my own thing, being that little punk rock skate kid with my high individualistic drive of just doing things my way. And well, then one day I got offered a chance to just tour through the Middle East for 2 weeks, and got paid at that time a shitload of money. And that was when things turned around for me to kind of never go back to studying. I never went back to the uni. It was from that moment on, I came home. I had two major sponsors at that time. I came home from those 2 weeks, Sony PlayStation. They just got into the market with those games back then. They were my first paying sponsor. And I was like, this is brilliant. This is like, what can I, this was like a kid's dream come true, right? They sent me the PlayStation to play, and I was like, pay to skate. What else could I wish for?
So when it comes to disciplines in this, I'm tracking back to what you said. What I got from that was, number one is obsession, and number two is adventure. So those are two, you could call them a discipline if you would, or certainly something you can lean into and create more of. But you were following your intuition. You were offered opportunity based on something you were building a skill set towards. You got better by default. You became that unconscious competent, and you decided to take a chance on yourself. Where I think a lot of people would hold back on taking chances on themselves because they feel that they need to stay in their lane based on their education or the advice that other people around them give.
Yeah, and I wasn't raised to stay in the lane. That is one thing I got given from my mom, who I living with, who I was living with. She was raising me, and I was not raised in a way where staying in the lane was something that you do. To some degree, that served me very well. To some degree, that also later on in life, I learned, well, to always just be going in the opposite direction of everyone else because I'm chronically not staying in the lane. Well, sometimes it's really cool because you get to see other things than most people. Well, sometimes it's also to your disadvantage. I've learned that the hard way later on in life, but that also, to now go back to that time when I got to be a pro skateboarder, that allowed me to simply come back from Dubai at that time and say, you know what, I'm just going to go skate now. That's much cooler. Not hesitating 1 second whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was at that time a quick, easy decision for me for something that really shaped my life. And it was experiences over the next 10 years that have shaped my life in such tremendous, impactful ways of learning other cultures, traveling myself, having to do business deals with people that were way out of my league, but still being all the way around the globe by myself, having to deal with all these sort of challenges and just finding ways and knowing there is a way. And that brings me also to one of the next parts here, which leads now, 20 years further, now being in this position that I am in, working for one of I couldn't wish for a better job. Like, to be working for someone like Tony Robbins in the coaching environment, this is really a lifetime. It just blows my mind every time I speak about that even. And what I wanted to say is, back then as a skateboarder, it planted the seeds for, if I know there's something I want to get after, it is aligned with what I really feel I want to do, I know there's a way. It's just falling, getting up, falling, getting up, literally what I did over years and years and years in skateboarding. And, just not repeating the same thing. Because I'm going to draw a analogy to my skateboarding days. Yes, I broke my arm, and yes, I hit my face into the ground. I did all of these things everybody can relate to, probably somehow, because most people have stood on a skateboard and they fell, and then they decided, you know what, I don't know if that's worth it. And I was at that point too, when I was, 14 or something, when I broke this wrist for the first time. It was all crooked, and I just got back to it. I couldn't wait to get back to it. I got back to it, and I figured out, okay, I'm not going to fall like that again. So falling, getting back up again, thinking about what will I be doing differently forward, so this doesn't happen to me again. 25 years later, same thing in jiu-jitsu. About 6 years ago, I really got into Brazilian jiu-jitsu. There was this one incident here in Frankfurt where I was sparring with someone at white belt level then, and he was a bit better than me. I could feel my balance is really good from all the things that I did. And so I was holding against it, and suddenly we were both flying through the air, and my head landed on his head, which ended up with a big gash here, which just really like it shot out like crazy. Not painting that picture here too much, but anyways,
we have a photo of that. We've got a photo I wanted to share.
I do have a photo of that. You don't want to see it though.
Okay, next call.
And what I wanted to say is, with that, is it was the same thing there. I thought to myself, in the next coming days back home, having this big gash here, like stitches, man, I love the sport. It is so cool. It gives me so much. Being there every night of the week, if I can, it gives me so much. So how can I go forward, still do that, and not think of this? So I have to come up with some sort of a mindset, some sort of a belief, some sort of a idea. Okay, what will I not do in the future again, which is going to lead me into a situation like this?
Yeah, I think what I get from that, Sascha, is, I'm getting feedback here. Can you turn down your phone on Instagram fully, Sascha? Sometimes it shoots the volume back up. I think that's probably what I'm getting the feedback. But what I think I'm getting from that is, you've got to always ask yourself, is the juice worth the squeeze? No matter what you do, are you prepared to pay the price? Are you prepared to bet on yourself and actually go through some physical pain and mental pain and just the discipline of that alone? Not everyone is going to go through that process, but I think you for yourself, and for me anyway, I know I had to find things that brought me a sense of self-significance. That through the discipline of the failure, if there was perceived failure, or as I heard one gentleman say before, failure is not failure, it's delayed success. And it's also a tool to give you feedback on how you do succeed. So you should be embracing as much failure as you possibly can. So we can change the perception on failure, and we'll touch on that in a moment. But know what you're doing actually has a purpose, and be willing to pay the price. And just because you don't look so good at something to begin with doesn't mean you can't get better and actually become a much more refined version of yourself, and actually really increase your own self-worth in the process.
Yeah, those are beautiful thoughts. And back then as a skateboarder, I was following a dream. I was following a passion and an obsession also, to some degree, because I was addicted to fulfilling my needs in that way. I was addicted to experiencing the variety of life, traveling from competition to competition to competition, trying over and over and over and over again to win something, to compete, to do something better. And it was just really amazing. And what's fascinating to me is that planted the seed within me to really go after something, if I believe in it, to have that unwavering faith into something. And back then, the transition really that I made nowadays was, back then it was something that I could present physically, show someone, look, this is the trick, this scores points, this does this and this for me. Looks amazing, doesn't it? And so then the tricky bit came later in my career as a fitness professional, studio owner, when I made the transition to coaching, to the work on mindset and beliefs, and really working on the invisible things, the invisible stuff. Because I was used to showing people what's there and how to improve. Look, it's this trick, it looks like this. Look, it's this weight, it's something physically, you can see it. And then working on this, I could sense very early in my fitness professional career, well, that's the magic stuff here. This up here and this here. That's where the magic is. But I didn't have a clue on how to go after that, how to learn, how to get into that profession, how to get even good at it. Because when are you good enough to be a coach? When are you good enough? I mean, that is one of the questions everyone carries. Myself, still to this day. How am I going to make it through this? How, am I good enough to offer this and this? And it's just a primary question almost that all of us have.
Yeah. It's that imposter syndrome, right? And I think that is a destructive habit in itself. And just brings me on to our next question that I wanted to ask you is, outside of the imposter syndrome and second guessing yourself and procrastination, what are some of the most destructive habits that you see your clients actually presenting with that you absolutely know is sabotaging them and actually stealing them from having a much greater life than they're currently living?
It is one word that you just used, which I absolutely love in this context. What sabotages them? And we all have that saboteur going on here, right? The little voice in the back of our head that just constantly looks for things that are going wrong, and that could be a challenge, a problem, something that goes wrong. And we all have that inner voice. For some of it, it's huge, it's loud, it's ultra loud. It's like someone with a megaphone sitting behind you. And it is. So to answer your question, right, what are some of the destructive habits which stand in the way, or which are some of these limiting factors? It is to find a way to deal with that, because we all have that in some way. And this little voice, or huge voice for some people, it has developed from where it's from. It doesn't matter so much, but we all have that as a protective mechanism that we put on at some early age, almost like a cast, if you have a broken arm, you put on a cast, right? And imagine you're just not taking that off ever. So that protective mechanism, which is your ego protective mechanisms that you develop at a young age, that is basically that little voice that you carry into adulthood. So it's really, it's just that. And you're still wearing that cast. It's that little voice that that developed at some age to be of service for you. So it was very good for you to have that. And you can really tap yourself on the shoulder that you got that voice. And the magic begins here. The magic really begins once you're starting in your day-to-day life to really pick up on that little voice and then say, hey, buddy, I'm seeing you, I'm hearing you. Thanks for that, but fuck off for a bit. Sit in the back, I'll take the steering wheel.
Yeah. I love that. And I was actually, just going to ask about what there's many ways I think to just help overcome that voice. And I even in Phil Stutz, Barry Michaels and Phil Stutz, I keep mentioning this book, Sascha. I don't know if you've read it, but two psychologists that wrote this book. It's absolutely awesome, called The Tools. But in that book, are you familiar with the book? Have you read that one?
No.
It's so good, mate. It's so good. But he talks about that shadow part of our personality, and that oftentimes that shadow is the voice, that part of themselves that tells you can't do something, or you're not good enough, or who do you think you are, or these people will say things about you if you step out of your comfort zone and go take a risk on yourself. And I think oftentimes people turn their back on that voice, and and if that happens, we can almost self-sabotage, because that builds up a level of resentment and almost like huge stress. But what I love what he talks about in the book is there is that element of, get out of here, I appreciate you. But the way he pieces it together, he almost has this collaborative thing. It's like you have the two forces in your life. One is supporting you, one is going against you. But if you accept that and go, we'll always have a voice like that.
Yeah.
But say, I appreciate your cynicism. I appreciate your sarcasm and your enthusiasm for the what if this happened isms. But if they're there and they're beside you, so it's a collaborative sense of we are going to create the success.
Yeah.
So that's an ally rather than an enemy, so to speak. And I thought that was really interesting because I would have always kind of been like, get out of here, you know, don't even be on my mind. But
it's part of you, Eric. I just want to interrupt right there because this is one of the fundamental things I speak to all my coaches about. This is a part of you, and really it was there at some point to really serve you, to protect you, and it did a great deal for you. And for that fact alone, every time that he shows up, that part of your personality shows up, it's not just about telling him, fuck off, I don't want to see you here ever again. It's a part of you. Acknowledge him for that, her, him, whatever, and just really, hey, thanks. Note it. I pay attention, but I got this, and I look the way that I want to give my life directions.
Nice. Any other tips then for people that are feeling less than enthusiastic about taking action, Sascha, that you help them overcome with your coaching as well?
So many. That's such a big question. So.
Of course, yeah. Well, let's maybe go with the magic number of 3. So we've addressed that. You know, just a quick solution for trying to help our little voice in our head to speak better of us and appreciate them for protecting us and keeping us where we are. Well, maybe 2 other things that you might have come up recently with some of your clients that you thought, wow, that was quite impactful.
Yeah, first thing, even before that scenario, when somebody speaks to a client, I would say be open to work with a mentor or a coach. It really comes down to that because so many people look at that profession still and look at that profession that having a coach on your side, having somebody on your side who's going through life with you, it's a way of life almost. You and I, we both know working out physically, it's like, it's not even to think about. You need to do your fair share of workouts. You need to do your resistance work. You need to take care of your physical temple, because that's going to be your vessel for the rest of your life. There's no questions asked. Science provides all the proof around that. And with having a coach, having a mentor, having somebody on your side who gives you an outside perspective, who asks you those questions, who are not your questions, because sometimes we don't see the forest for the trees, or the other way around. I just always can't remember that saying.
You got it. Yeah, nailed it.
Nice. Yes, I nailed it. So sometimes we are just caught in our own model of the world, which really is just caught in the way we ask ourselves the questions. And all we're doing thinking anyways, it's formulating questions and answering them. And oftentimes we're stuck in a certain way, in certain patterns, how we phrase them. And also when it comes to the quality of the questions. So back to your question, first thing really is being open to work with someone, or just having someone on your side as a support, as someone who's on the sidelines of your life to give you an outside perspective, questions that you don't ask yourself, better quality questions. Tony puts it in the words of better quality questions lead to a better quality life, right? So that would be the first thing. And so you asked me for 3 things, and from the top of my head, I can think of one more thing. Let's see what comes along the way here. Whatever your situation is in life, whatever you're facing, wherever you are, and now in this conversation here, I've given you a quick draft from being a pro athlete to now being in the position that I'm now, which is 2 really awesome spots. I've been in the low parts as well. And I had to find out the very hard way that no matter how tough life is, you need to know that there's a way out, there's a way forward. And literally what helped me one time in my life was there was this huge pile of, it felt like a huge pile of mess, a huge pile of shit, that I had to deal with for quite some time. And all I could think of, because I didn't see anything of this disappearing, I just didn't see a way out, but I knew as long as I keep moving forward, it's progress forward. And even if I have a shovel this big and I keep digging every day, tiny bits from this huge pile around me, there's going to be a day when I hit the light or when I see the light, and I'm going to be out of that. So what I wanted to say with that is have unwavering faith into what you're after and continue to give your life directions with that. Because if you're not actively giving your life a direction, what ends up is your life will give you a direction to deal with in some way.
Yeah, and oftentimes I think as well, it's just that wavering, meandering kind of going with the breeze. And we can all choose whichever way we want to go in life. But I think, if we have that trust in ourselves and that desire to go out and create more abundance, then you need to choose a coach. You need to choose someone that will help you, because you can't figure these things out on by yourself. And speaking of which, collaboration is such a big thing when it comes to upping your game. And we've all heard the expression, if you're the smartest person or the most advanced person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. So being uncomfortable around people that have created more success than you is such an important principle, I think, as well, especially when it comes to collaboration. So I'm wondering, what are some of the things you learned from working with elite coaches from all spectrums, whether it's from Tony Robbins affiliation, from animal flow to skateboarding on a professional level as well? What are some of the kind of the top three, the magic three key takeaways or lessons you've learned from working in a collaborative fashion that people can really up their game if they were to invest in a coach or a mentor?
Could you specify that question? I'm not sure if I caught that correctly.
Yeah. So what kind of lessons do you feel that you've learned? Three main lessons you would have learned from coaches or mentors that you're working with, that through collaboration you were surprised, or you learned something that you could really up your own game and teach your clients as well how to up their game through collaborative work.
One thing would be that really choosing your peer group, that is so important, and we both know about that. We have talked about that in the past in one of our previous calls. Just choosing your peer group is such an important, vital role to get to a different point than where you are right now in life. There needs to be some change happening. And that might be your belief system. That might be what you think about certain things. That might be your values. That might be your identity beliefs, whatever it is. But along with that, at some point comes also your surroundings. And that might also mean that sometimes what comes with that is that your people that you surround yourself with will change. That by itself is a scary thought for most people, or for many people. My hallucination is it, at least, because you'll have to say goodbye to some people in your life at some point. And there are people in my life which have just recently joined me or come into my life, and it's just absolutely aligned with the mission that I'm after. And there are some other people who I know for my life, for almost my whole life, where I know it is also time, maybe to not spend so much time with each other anymore, because life mission is just not aligned, and it is just a different temperature. It's a different tempo. It's a different angle that we're flying on, whatever you want to use as a metaphor there.
The vibration and the energy is not matched, and it's precious, and you can't afford to bleed out any of your aligned energy to any person that's drawing on that. I couldn't agree more. And in life, sometimes you got to shake off the weight, and that's just how it is, But yeah, continue with that line of thought as well, because I'm intrigued about that, because it's such an important acknowledgement of awareness. This is what I need. And if we have to be selfish within that, then that's just how it has to be, in order for you to go out and not have resentment in your life, or look back and go, oh, I would have done this if this person wasn't such a drag, or if they weren't there. As Jim Rohn would say, and how tightly knit your work with Tony Robbins is, because Jim Rohn, I believe, was Tony Robbins' mentor, was, if you're not happy where you are in life, then move. You're not a tree. And that includes not only your place of location, but also relationships as well,
and that mental space,
and
those emotional homes. To quite literally paint the picture of this metaphor here, Move your emotional home. Move your thoughts about what you're capable of. Move what you believe about life, what you believe about people. It is such a fascinating journey that I wish we could talk about this for 2 more hours here, because it really is.
We'll do more topics. We'll do more topics, man. Let's make it a regular.
I'm looking forward to that, because it really, from my journey, coming from a fitness professional background, before that as a pro athlete, now working in the realm of personal development, personal growth. What I'm doing now, it's just really, this is all putting it all together, because that personal growth and working with those invisible forces, this is really where you get to ultimately be fulfilled. This is where you really can work on getting the success that you're after, and not just for an empty chasing something. Once I'm there, I'm going to be happy. It is all about the journey. It's what we're doing here, Eric. It's about spreading this message. It's about really speaking to others through Instagram, maybe here, and through YouTube and Facebook, and really inspiring people. Go after what you really want from life, and be also very, very sure about 2 things here. Have a very clear picture of what you're after on one side, and also have a very clear picture of what you don't want. Most people only have one of those. And the issue then, I'm sure that you're very familiar with that concept, is if somebody comes from only defining what they don't want in life, well, our subconscious doesn't deal good with that. I don't want to be doing this. Well, our subconscious really understands, I just do this and this. The knot doesn't come down into the system. And so know what you don't want in life, but also very clearly define what you're after in life. Because then sometimes what you're getting, if you haven't been clear on what you don't want in life, sometimes you're getting something, it looks very tasty, it looks like that shiny object that you've been after, but it brings some of the stuff that you don't want. And if you haven't been clear on that, well, that's a shit thing to have then.
Yeah.
I don't know, does that make sense? I just went off on a tangent here.
No, it does. It's almost like if you have like a sieve, if you've got this magic flour, the things you want, and there's all of a sudden these lumps in amongst the sieve, and you're like, well, I wasn't expecting you there. What's this big clog? So the more clarity you can have on what is your magic flour, what is that for you? Remove the lumps, so to speak, the things you don't want. So what you want coming through is that finished product, or that end goal for you. And there will always be lumps. There will always be lumps in the process of getting what you want. But it's a matter of sifting and sorting, pardon the pun, and going through how can I change? Or one of my other mentors, coaches, talks about plan, do, review. It's have a plan, do the plan, review it. How do you make it better?
Yeah.
So that's a constant change, a constant process. But if you're not in that process and you don't know, and you don't express that conscious awareness of how do I get better, then I think life is going to be very hard by the time you get to the end of it. I think there's going to be a lot of things you've left on the table that you haven't explored, that you could have really leaned in on, being honest with yourself and express the need to actually get better, no matter what it is. But any comments just to close out that question, Sascha?
No, from the top of my head right now, there's so many things which are worthy mentioning, but most importantly, go after what you want in life, know what you want, also define what you don't want, and also be sure that challenges will always come your way. This is partly of what you mentioned with that flower, and there's things coming along with that flower that you don't want, and this is really just part of being alive, experiencing challenges. This is part of growing. And Tony puts it in such nice ways. It is not about not having problems. It's about having better quality problems.
There we go. Just talking about solving problems, this brings me on to my last and final question around our Project 100K. We are currently passionate about not only the mental game and the physical game, but the energy game, the inner software game, up-regulating the workings of the human body and the human existence and experience through the power and ancient wisdom of medicinal mushrooms. And this is something that I've been passionate about for a long, long time. And more recently, we've been starting to work together on sharing this with the world. But I'm curious for you, Sascha, what excites you most about what we're doing with medicinal mushrooms, with Project 100K, impacting 100,000 lives this year? That is our goal. And even if we don't hit, as Les Brown would say, if you aim for the stars and miss, or you aim for the moon and miss, you're still amongst the stars. And that's the energy I want to bring, is that I don't know who's going to see this message and go, I'm a coach, I'm a content creator, or I'm a person who has a desire to create more abundance and is passionate around health. What excites you about this whole concept?
What excites me with the concept of impacting 100,000 people, Eric? My boss literally has the mission end suffering in this world. And when I heard you and the mission that you have to be impacting 100,000 lives with what you do, and coming from the same background as I do, and just from the first get-go, I remember when we met on the streets in Portugal, because I was running into you, we had a date there, and I just remember it was like the vibration, the energy was great from the very first moment on. I had no idea what you are into at that point. I just knew there is something really, I mean, the business side of things or the mission side of things, I had no idea about that. And that day wasn't about that either. It was really just about having an awesome day, doing something together, experiencing something together, which is what time is about anyways, experiencing awesome things together. And to impact, to be aligned with your mission here, Project 100K, this is what I do. I impact lives every day. This is what I get up for, with a smile. Even before I open my eyes in the morning, I get up every morning. I hit my alarm. I don't look at it. I just switch it off. I lay in my bed. I have my eyes closed. And I envision how many lives I will impact today, what I want from the day, and what I'm grateful for. And what your mission is just so in line with that. And then again, in the evening, I do that too, thinking about what kind of conversations I had throughout the day, how I impacted different lives all around the globe. And that feeling of contributing, it is really experiencing growth is what we are. This is aligned with the universal laws. Life supports life. In order to support life, you have to grow, and then you contribute. So again, going off on a tangent here, it's just, I couldn't be any happier. I just want to impact people to feel better. And with what we do, we have a vehicle to do that. It's just purely amazing to be working with you and to be having these conversations, to brainstorm how can we impact more people day in, day out. Thanks for being on your side and having me on your team.
Absolutely, brother. I couldn't be more proud to have you, and that's really the name of the game, is how do we work together in a collaborative way to up everyone's game? And that's what we're all about, guys. So if you need help with the mental and performance game, please reach out to Sascha. You can get him on his Instagram and also on his Facebook. Just put a comment maybe in the feed, and drop Sascha a message and let us know what you enjoyed most from the call. If you're also coming on this call, either you're in our entrepreneurs group or you're on Instagram and want to try our one box challenge to see what this does for you, see how you can override your software and actually upregulate the workings of your system, then we would absolutely love your feedback on this, because you would be part of our 100K of those people that are actually feeling so much better every single day. And of course, if you are a coach and a content creator, how do we make this happen? How do we reach more people? The connection and relationships, like Sascha was saying, was that trust with more clients. It's people that, if you have a following, if you have a network of people that you care about and want to see them do better, then I would challenge you to find something more powerful, more accessible than what we have. So I'd love to have a conversation with you guys if you're watching this as a coach or a content creator, if you want to work with myself and Sascha on our global mission. And let's just take this thing to a whole other level, because as our partner, another partner, Dr. Bob Rakowski, always says, it is a crime. It is a crime not to share this with people, because we've seen so much evidence of this helping other people from all walks of life with all kinds of challenges. So, Sascha,
here's one more thing. Yes, here's the last word from my side. along the lines of what you just said, something to be inspiring everyone that has been listening here on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook. Along with the lines of what you just said, Eric, if you hold back your services, if you are a fitness professional of some sort, a yoga teacher of some sort, if you have a studio and you want new members, whatever it is, whatever your business is, your service is, think about it this way. If you hold back from offering your service, you're being of disservice ultimately. It's along with what you said right there, and this is from Dean Graziosi, who's also a big inspiration from mine. And it's really, when I heard that for the first time, man, I have no issues to drum my message day in, day out.
Yeah.
It just comes down to that. I don't want to be of disservice. I know what I'm doing. I know how much value I can add. And so be it. So I'm drumming my message, and don't hold back, everyone. Bring it out there to the world and impact others. You don't have a clue. Sometimes it's small things like this, one sentence that impacts another life.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more, man. I'm not even going to try and talk over that to land with a mic drop, because I think a lot of what was said there is mic drop material. So with that said, how about we appreciate everyone that's come on this call. Thank you so much for showing up. My question and challenge to you is, what are you going to do with the information? Because it's not going to act on itself. No one else is going to create a better life for you apart from you. So if we can help within that equation, you know what to do. Sascha, you're a legend. Thank you, brother. Let's schedule more calls coming up soon. And looking forward to new subject matter. And next time we're going to be sharing some of your athletic endeavors as well. We'll have some more interactive slides and stuff for the visual end of things. Which would be great to see you in action doing your thing. So
this is not enough action here, right?
Oh no, absolutely not.
No, let's do that. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, have a great day. Sascha, thank you once again, my friend. Looking forward to sharing more calls with you in the future. And guys, for Tuesday, for our next Ask the Doctor Health call, for any of you guys who are interested in health, obviously you're on this channel here, I'm sure you're interested in health, but we will be posting about our next week's call with Dr. Rakowski in our groups, on our social, well in advance this week. It's been a bit of a strange time being here in Brazil, with things kind of all over the place with time zones and whatnot. But next week we will have extra advanced notice for those calls. So guys, have an epic day. Sascha, have a great day, and we will catch you very soon, my friend.
Thank you.
You got it, brother. Ciao for now.
Ciao.
We're ending the stream.